Hi, welcome to Two Batches.
Two Batches Cooking is about home style with ease.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Rosemary.
Welcome in.
Let's go inside and get started. Amen, sister.
Amen.
Woo!
Hey, today I am going to make a dish called Hungarian Goulash. It's authentic Hungarian goulash, not the American version with hamburger, macaroni, noodles, and tomatoes.
Oh, God.
This is actually a recipe that is beef, the main things, beef, onions, paprika, garlic, and potatoes. And you have a wonderful goulash, which is like a stew, after about 2.5 hours of cooking.
And I'm going to do a recipe that uses beets. Now don't gag. Beets, some people hate them, some people don't have them very often, but I think this is a recipe you're really going to like. It's fresh tasting, dare I say summery. And, you know, as a Midwesterner with Eastern European roots, I love beets in any form. I love them canned, I like them fresh or cooked fresh, and I think it's going to go well with Hungarian goulash.
Sounds great.
Let's do it. Okay, so before we get started, can you please address the hair?
The multi-color hair, depending on what episode you're watching, hair.
Yep, that's it.
Yes. No rhyme or reason, was brunette all my life until I got old, and then I had to dye my hair. And the pandemic made me lazy because I didn't leave my house, so I contacted a stylist who has known me for years, and she helped me. First, we stripped the color off, so the episodes where I'm blonde, that is the result of the brown dye being removed and the blonde remaining, so then I had to let that grow out. Then she cut it and we dyed it again, and I chose titanium, which is actually lavender blue with a tinge of gray. Unfortunately, on the video, it just seems to show up as dark gray, but it actually is a really pretty color. But yeah, so that's my kaleidoscope of hair colors, and there's really no planning behind it. It was just kind of bad planning as far as the videos.
I am glad we got that out of the way. Let's get to the
Okay,
goulash.
let's get to the goulash. So I have a pan with a 1/4 cup of oil in it, and I am going to turn on the stove to a medium. And I have, onions are a key ingredient in goulash. So I have the equivalent of 3 medium or 2 large onions. So what you wanna do is get the onions to just sweat a little bit, become a little transparent. You don't need to brown them. And I have 3 cloves of garlic that I minced. So I'm gonna add half of the garlic right now and cook that. And then I have a 1/4 cup of Hungarian paprika. This is Papa Hungarian paprika. I'm gonna put about half of it in with the onions. And I'm gonna stir this and let this cook for about 10 minutes. Okay, so if you can see here, the onions have started to soften and cook. I did add a 1/2 cup of water to the onions and paprika and garlic mixture. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to add the rest of the garlic. So for a total of 3 cloves. The rest of the paprika. Get this stirred up. Now I have 2 pounds of meat here. You can use shank beef meat or stew meat. You do not need a high grade quality of meat because this is going to cook for over 2 hours and it will break down and be very tender. So I'm going to stir this. The smell is wonderful. All right, so now I am adding, like I said, enough water so that there's approximately 2 inches of water over the meat. This is going, just kind of give it a gentle stir. And on medium heat, you want to let this cook And actually it's gonna cook for 2 hours. You do wanna check it occasionally, but you don't have to continue to stir it. Okay, so now the goulash has been cooking a little bit over an hour. You can see that some of the liquid has evaporated and the water has taken on a hue of being a gravy instead of just water. The meat is being, it's just almost falling apart. The onions are cooking. So we have about a half an hour, 40 minutes left. And then we're gonna add 3 cut up potatoes. Let that cook for 15 to 20 minutes and it'll be ready to eat. All right, so the goulash has been cooking for 2 hours and it has thickened up. The beef is just tender, falling apart. I am going to add a generous pinch of fresh ground pepper and 2 pinches of coarse salt. So now I have 3 potatoes that are cubed. I'm going to add these and I'm going to let this cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. We just essentially want the potatoes to cook, to get soft and be ready to eat.
Okay, so the beets are the main act in the beet and cilantro salad. So these are, I go for the regular standard purple beets. They come in many flavors or many styles. I go for medium size, not too big, not too small. I like them kind of uniform so they'll cook, and they come in kind of bunches like this. They're dirty. It almost looks like they pulled them from behind the store and put them in a bag and put them on the shelf. So we're gonna actually boil these and just get them prepped for boiling. Cut off the tops like this. We're gonna do that. So I like these pom-poms here, so move them out of the way. And you really don't need to do much. You can cut that down a little bit more if you want. If there's a little bit of a tip, cut them down. And then you're gonna rinse them off. You don't have to scrub them, just get off the loose dirt. And you're gonna put all of the beets looking about like this into boiling water. Okay, so the beets are ready to go in. As I mentioned, we're trimming them down a little bit, not totally. They can be a little bit junky, but not too dirty. And we're just gonna put them in the water. This pot is about 2/3 full of water. Now typically beets are going to take anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour to cook depending on the size, but I'm going to check these after about a half an hour. Okay, so 30 minutes has gone by. As you can see, this water's cooked down quite a bit, so I'm just going to check and see where we are with these beets. So I'm going to take out a beet, and I typically try to put a fork through it and see how easily it goes through. And so I would say these probably need another 10 minutes. Let's see how these are doing. So we want the beets to feel firm and not mushy, but not too firm because you want to be able to eat them. So let's try these. So I've got a big fork, and the fork kind of slides through pretty easily to the other side. So I would say these are done. Put these in the strainer. Try not to scald myself here. So all this nice color. So there they are, all ready for us to peel, but not yet, because we'll burn our face off, right? Okay, so the beets have cooked and they've been cooling. And so as you can see now, you might be able to just take your fingers and just take this. We should have that in, that's funny. Okay, hold on. All right, should I start again? Okay, come back watch this after dropping it. So these are slippery little suckers, as Julia Roberts would say, right? So the idea is that you peel them all, and you can now take off the junk on the end and on the tip if there's any rough parts. But essentially, you're just slicing these up. Okay, so this is what happens after you've cut up a whole bunch of beets. As you can see, they're all cut up, they look great, color's beautiful, but before you move on to really assembling the rest of this, you really gotta go wash your hands. Otherwise, there's gonna be purple everywhere. Okay, so hands washed, beets are there. Now what we're gonna do is cut up some onion. I usually use a whole onion for this, but I think I'm gonna use a half today. And you just wanna cut it up into pieces and break it up. And when you put this, you can eat this at room temperature eventually, or you can put it in the refrigerator. And sometimes if you leave it in the refrigerator for a while, which is kind of cool, the onion actually takes on a little bit of the color of the beets, and it really starts to kind of look like a dish. And so the onion, the lemon, and the cilantro, and the salt and pepper are gonna cut some of the sweetness of the beets. So we're just gonna mix it up a little bit like that, which is great. we are going to add on juice of a lemon. So let's do that. Using a press, which is just the easiest way to get the juice out. Hopefully there's enough in here. It feels pretty good. Juice of a lemon, 1/2, second half. Wow, I think I need to work out more. Jesus, I can't squeeze this.
Come on, you can do it. Go for it.
Woo, that's a hard one. Okay, so lemon is all over here, which is great. Then what you're gonna do is take the cilantro and just put it over the beets. Salt and pepper are critical. You should over salt this a little bit because it's really gonna bring some taste out of the beets, and not granulated salt, but it's gotta be kind of the coarse salt, okay? And pepper. And then one final nice little picture. If you've got part of your lemon left, you want to go ahead and create garnish. And then, as I said, room temperature, or you can put it in the fridge. And look, see, this is already getting pink. Look at how beautiful that is. And we will taste it soon. Wow.
It's time to eat. We have the goulash. It is, like I said, it is formed a nice gravy, and with the meat and the potatoes. I have rye bread. That's one of the traditional things to serve with it. You could also make lungalo, which is a fried bread that's has garlic salt sprinkled on it. It's delicious, but it's a whole nother long process. So we went with rye bread.
And then we've got the beets, which are like another Eastern European type flair. And so we're ready to go. And of course, we're topping it off. We have a new wine shop. And this is a French rosé that is a Sancerre. And I think it's made with a Pinot Noir grape, if I remember what he said to me. So let's, cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh.
Cheers to you.
Wow, that's really good. It's cool.
Forget the goulash.
Yeah.
I want the wine.
Gives a crap about the food. But since we worked our butts off, let's try it. So this looks so good. Oh my God.
Oh, it's good. I did add the salt and pepper. You can also have salt and pepper on the table if people want more. The meat's tender. It's like
Paprika is such a great spice. It gives it a great flavor. This is so good.
And the Hungarian paprika is sweet paprika. There's smoky, there's sweet, there's hot, but this is the sweet paprika. So let's try
how the
some.
beets go with this.
A small one. Oh, such a beautiful color.
Yum.
Beets.
Lemon
That's
juice.
another thing from my childhood. Beets from my grandparents, from my dad's garden. Oh, it's delicious.
Eastern Europe, France,
Vino.
Wow. We're so lucky.
Oh, wish you were here to join us, but we're gonna go eat.
And drink.
Watch us on, recipes are on Facebook. And
YouTube.
watch on YouTube, and we will see you soon.